Hi, it's me, Del Singh from Late Night Banter. Thank you very much for joining me this evening for what is a charity special. Now, charities have been in the news, sadly for the wrong reasons in the last couple of weeks because of a couple of scandals that are going on, and which is a real shame. Charity use so much for so many people, and there are so many people that work hard, both fundraising and giving up their time, and unfortunately a few people have actually abused the system and are actually causing a lot of problems in that charity sector. I, for one, am certainly not going to stop giving to charity. And I hope you too will support charities moving forward. Charity is a huge part of Sikhi, of the Sikh religion. We have Seva, we have Langar, we ask for Sabat Kapala, which is basically the welfare of all. And I think charity was best summed up for me by my late father, who actually said something to me which didn't resonate until more recently, which was "Jira kisi da dukh karta hai aur apna jeevan safal karta hai." Now, that roughly translated means that somebody that cuts the pain or takes away the pain of others by doing something good actually enhances his or her own life. I certainly have found that in the last couple of years I've done various charity things. Certainly putting your hand in your pocket and giving to charity is brilliant. Sometimes going out your comfort zone and doing something, as I try to do these physical challenges, whether it's climbing a mountain or running a marathon, is something that gives me great satisfaction to know that I'm actually doing something to help others. 2018 is no exception. I've actually got what is my QHF challenge even, which is a marathon challenge, and that is to run a quarter marathon in Brighton, a half marathon in my hometown in Peterborough, and a full marathon in Loch Ness. That's almost 50 miles, which for some may not sound like a lot, but for a guy in his mid-50s never run with these kind of knees, it's a major undertaking. I'm hoping to raise £5,000 for charity. And I've selected a charity in particular that probably a lot of people haven't heard of. It's called HEAL, which is Health and Education for All. You can find out more about HEAL on their website, which is healcharity.org. And basically HEAL is a small charity that is looking after orphans in India. They started off in a modest way with just 20, 30 orphans. They now care for about 3,000 orphans, and they're looking to care for 10,000. These are children that never knew things that I know, which is parental love, protection, safety, not having to go without food, hunger, and basically they've protected them from all of those, and possibly in some cases saved them from abuse, trafficking, and even death. So HEAL is something close to my heart. I'm looking to help HEAL raise £5,000 and helping those orphans. One of the reasons I chose HEAL was because they actually don't have any executives. So nobody's taking a salary, nobody's taking the money, it's all voluntary. So people basically give up their time to help HEAL. I'm doing exactly that. In fact, all the money I'm spending on getting to the races, to run them, to enter them, to get stuff like this printed out, to promote, it's coming out of my pocket. I'm going to spend about £700 doing this, so I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I hope the viewers of Sad Sangatji can actually help me in that respect. You've been very generous in all appeals that you've on the Sikh channel before. I hope you'll continue to do that. If you go to latenightbanter.com, that's the website, latenightbanter.com, you can go to my Just Giving page and please donate. I really, really would appreciate that. So that's at latenightbanter.com. It wasn't that long ago I was accused by somebody of being a mungta, that's a beggar, because I was actually rattling a can when I was climbing Kilimanjaro to raise money for people dying in a hospice. You know what? I'm happy to be called a mungta. I am actually a mungta, I'm a beggar, because I'm begging for people that can't beg. They're people that don't have a voice. They're either too ill, they're dying, they're destitute. So I am begging on their behalf, and I am a mungta. This is fish bowl, you see it on the show. Today I'm using it as begging bowl. It's a begging bowl from a mungta asking for your money to help those that can't. So please, I hope the Sangat will be generous. I hope my viewers will look at me favourably and donate. My promise to you is that every penny you donate will go to HEAL, go to orphans. I will also go to my local Gurdwara Sahib and make sure the das is said, prayers are said for everyone who donates for their well-being and health. So please do support, not just me and not just what I'm doing, but please continue to support charities. Charities are important, not just as Sikhs, but for us as human beings, especially for those that have more than others. And if we've got something, we should share our good fortune. So thank you very much for watching, listening. Please watch tonight's show, which is a charity special all about homelessness. Some amazing stories, some amazing people doing wonderful things to help others. Thank you very much. And as I say, Wagji Karta Wagji Fateh, let banter commence. Good evening, welcome to Late Night Banter with me, Del Singh, and we're actually out of the studio and in the middle of London, in possibly one of the poshest parts of London. This is Chelsea, here at Duke of York Square in Chelsea, and I'm actually here because there's a charity event going on this evening in a posh place, but actually looking out for people that are sleeping rough, for the homeless. It's something organised by Glassdoor. I'm going to find out a little bit more about Glassdoor as a charity, what they're doing, and some of the people that are actually participating this evening in this sleeping out. So they're swapping their beds this evening for a night out on a cardboard mat in, well, it's reasonably temperate now, but it will get colder, I'm sure. So stick with me and let's talk about that. So I'm going to meet with some of the people that are participating, but also with one of the organisers this evening. So, good evening, and you are?
Yes, hello, I'm Melissa Christian. I work with Glassdoor.
Okay, Melissa's with Glassdoor. So, I mean, I must admit, I go on the net and I thought Glassdoor just do job reviews. So you're not going to review my job, or I'm not going to review yours?
If you'd like to talk about your job, that'd be fine. But
no, I don't want to depress you. So we're talking about Glassdoor as a charity.
That's right. So,
okay, and what does Glassdoor do?
Right, so we have our main office just down the King's Road in Chelsea, and it has a glass door in the front. And
nice.
So the people who used to come visit us for our services, our laundry and our food and our night shelters, used to say, go down the road and turn into the glass doors. So that's where the name comes from. Wow. And that's right. So we run night shelters in the winter time, and we work with a network of religious organizations to make those happen. So they open up their doors overnight, and we use that space to run night shelters.
Okay, and is that solely here in London, or is that across the UK?
It's just here in London. It's in 3 boroughs in London.
3 boroughs in London, okay.
Yes.
And how long has Glassdoor been going for?
Yeah, so it started in 1998.
Okay.
And those were just the early days before we had night shelters. The night shelters have been running for about 17 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, since about 2000.
And how many people would the night shelters accommodate, sort of as of a night?
Right. So every night we have about 100 people. So it's the largest night shelter network in London and probably the UK. We're the only ones that can accommodate that number because we have a few different churches on any given night that's open.
Okay.
So
now 100 sounds like a lot, but when you think of the scale of the problem,
that's right.
100 isn't.
It's still just a drop in the bucket.
It is a drop, isn't it? Because
that's right.
I believe I read a statistic somewhere that around the UK, possibly not just London, there's about 83,000 people sleeping rough
per year. Yeah. So and it's been growing as part of the real difficulty in the past 6 years. It's more than doubled.
So that's kind of like filling a Wembley Stadium with people that are going to sleep out on the floor, on the ground.
Right, and a lot of those people those are the ones we can count. And then there's a lot of other people who are hidden away, who are hiding in bushes, sleeping on night buses, staying out all night in restaurants, and that we don't even have a way of counting.
Okay.
So it's even just, we say, the tip of the iceberg, the official numbers.
Okay. Well, Glassdoor, you're doing a great job. And then, so tell me a little bit about this evening here. We're in quite an affluent part of the world, up the road from your Glassdoor in Chelsea.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit, what's happening tonight?
Right. So this is a borough that, as we all know, has an extreme, of both sides, of extreme poverty and also extreme wealth. And it's people don't often know, but there is this underbelly of people who are in need. But we're very lucky because we do have resources in the community, and people come together as a community, and they cook food for the night shelters, they volunteer in the shelters, they run all sorts of different services, and we have about 420 people coming tonight to raise awareness and funds to help the night shelters. And
so this evening people are going to be sleeping out under the stars?
That's it, on the pavement.
On the pavement?
On the pavement, yes.
Okay, I mean, obviously, it's very noble. They're doing it for the one night, but
I know,
as you say,
yes.
I mean,
we don't try to pretend that this is really like sleeping rough, because of course we have the security of knowing that tomorrow we can go back to our comfortable beds with our pillows. But you'll be surprised at how it is actually really interesting to try to have the experience, because you realize it's really bright on the road and it's noisy. It never really quiets down, and it's not comfortable.
Well, as you said, there's that whole thing about safety, or the lack of safety. That, the fact of the matter is, somebody's walking past, you don't know whether they're going to assault you or what they're going to do or say to you. We can do that behind closed doors and we're safe. So that's obviously a major part of it, as is the uncomfortability. I mean, obviously it's quite a reasonable evening, it's quite temperate, but I imagine when the temperatures drop in the winter time, or it's raining,
it can be life-threatening, absolutely.
So your health will suffer as well.
That's right. So it's about just having a small taste of this small understanding to realize how difficult it is.
Okay. Well, Melissa, thank you very much. We're very grateful you've allowed us to come down here, but I'm also talking to Manny Korbajwa, who actually invited me down here. So thank you very much, Manny. Now, Manny actually is participating this evening, but you also have the CEO of the Billion Women charity as well.
Yes.
So firstly, tell me a little bit about your involvement this evening before we move on to your charity.
So this evening I'm here to take part in Sleepout just to raise awareness about the women sleeping rough on the streets, because I work with the women who sleep rough in the streets of London.
So your specific focus is more on women who sleep rough and looking out for their interests?
So I have been working with homeless women for the past 3 years.
Okay.
We mainly work in London. We provide something called Dignity Kit to these women, which is a bag packed with sanitation needs and a blanket in winter. So we have worked with Glassdoor as well.
So they're kind of essential things that people take for granted.
Exactly.
But when you're homeless, you're on the street,
you
don't have the money for those, but they're essential. So you're providing those.
Yes.
Great.
And we also, I personally go on the streets and talk to these women who are sleeping rough, try to find out more about the problems they face, and what can be done more to help them.
Okay.
So
that's your part of what you do there with the Billion Women charity. So and obviously that ties in nicely this evening with that whole theme of homelessness and being on the street.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, obviously, it is a problem, as Melissa was saying, that's sort of growing and growing, and there's more and more people out there.
More people out there, and one of the biggest issues is that you don't see women sleeping rough out on the streets, because most of the time they're hiding. Because if they're seen, if they sleep in the light,
in plain sight,
exactly, they get kicked, they get abused, and of course harassment as well.
So do you find, I mean, in your going out and seeing women, is it all ages, or is it younger?
All
or
ages.
It's
all ages. All ages. Young people, older people, middle, age people. Most of the women who are sleeping rough have mental health issues, and they have suffered from domestic violence. Some of them been on the street for 6 years, 5 years. Yes. It's, they basically, their mental health is so down that they don't have that mentality to actually go out there and ask for help.
Okay. And as part of the charity, and you're speaking to them, are you able to provide help and advice to try to get them off the streets?
Yes, we do. I do ring on their behalf to local authorities and trying to find out more what can be done. One of the girl I was helping, she's actually now being offered a place, and she's looking much better and she's happier. So it does help, but it takes a long time to.
Well, that's great. I mean, coming from Sikh backgrounds, we talk about Sarbat Kapala, we talk about basically the welfare of all, and sometimes I think we lose sight of that because, as you say, sometimes these people are hidden in plain sight. We walk past them, we don't know their story.
We don't know their story.
And maybe we don't even want to know their story.
And they could be anybody. It could be one of us.
Yeah, it could be, and I think that's the alarming thing. It could be somebody you may know, or somebody it may happen to.
And homelessness is something that a lot of these women, when you speak with them, they actually had jobs.
Yeah.
They have families. They had full-on life like we are. So that's one of the things I always say, that anyone can be in that situation. If you haven't got support system, if you haven't got a family who's going to support you, you lost your job, and you're not well, you'll end up on the street.
So sometimes a very rapid disintegration from what is a normal life to a life that's kind of without a sort of, without foundation.
Yes, I meet some women who actually had great jobs.
Yeah.
They had businesses, great jobs, and suddenly things went wrong, and it was so strong that it was difficult for them to.
I mean, a lot of people just have this idea. They see someone homeless and they think, well, you know what, you're just lazy, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah, that's
it. But it's such a misnomer that people, these are people that have actually often been up here, but through no fault of their own or circumstances have conspired against them.
Yeah.
And dealt them a bad hand.
And sometimes I meet women who actually were homeless and they are out of it now, and they will come to me and say, I want to show you where these women are.
Right.
And I was on the street, but I'm off now. But I know so many of them who are still homeless. So I do go, sometimes we do workshops, talk to them and try to kind of, find out maybe if there's help available for them, what number to ring, where to go. So I will go and do little sessions of talks with them. Yes.
And so this evening you're actually going to sleep out on a cardboard mat.
Yes.
As well. I saw you're going to show us what you've got there.
This is my card.
So I'm sleeping out to support the homeless or homelessness Glassdoor sleep out. So that's brilliant. So
this is my bed for tonight.
That's your bed.
Yes.
That's your bed. That's a pillow.
Yes.
And that's your mattress
and
there.
I have a sleeping bag.
And you have a sleeping bag. Okay, but still, it's not. But it's a hard bit of ground, isn't it? So.
It's very hard. And the thing is this: we can sleep here and go back home in the morning because I know that I'm going back to my bed. Just imagine these people every day they're doing this.
Yeah.
And just imagine your energy drops, your mentality drops.
Yeah, of course.
You become depressed because there's no hope. That's why it's important to carry on, even if they are sleeping on the streets. Just go to them, talk to them, and do a little bit you can, even giving them water in summer. Because these people can't go into shops because they want to serve them.
Yeah.
So just saying hi, how are you? I think it's.
Well, that makes a big difference, I'd imagine, to someone. So that's fine. Money, we're gonna.
Yes.
Have a wander around here and we're going to see a little more and then we'll be talking later again. Thank you. So here at the Glassdoor event, which is Sleep Out for the Homeless, I've actually got Eddie here who's got a Glassdoor shirt on, and Eddie's story is that he was actually homeless, weren't you, Eddie?
Yes, I was homeless for a long time. I came to London in 1984 and then I ended up homeless and in and out of situations up until 2010, 2011, and I got accommodation.
So that was quite a long period you were homeless for. You said to me earlier you had some issues and stuff, and Glassdoor actually helped you around that and helped you move forward?
Yeah. Do you know, when I went to Glassdoor, well, it was West London Homeless Churches at the time.
Okay.
And I used to go to one in Queensgate over in the main one here.
Okay.
And it just went from there.
Okay.
So now I got accommodation. I've been in there for 6 years now.
Okay. And so having accommodation brought some stability into your life, I guess. Did it allow you then to deal with the issues that you had?
It was being able to be grounded.
Right.
Do you know?
Feeling of belonging somewhere.
Yeah, in never having that. You say, why do you sleep out? I sleep out because I want to see homelessness alleviated. I want to see homeless ended.
Okay, so that's why we're here tonight, to do that.
Yeah.
And you told me you've actually even got yourself educated now. You've been doing things and moving forward with your life. What have you done then?
Yeah, I went to college. I got a level 1 in health and social care. I got a level 2 in health and social care. And I'm doing a peer mentor and level 2 course now. And plus, I got a job with Glassdoors as well.
That's brilliant. That is awesome, Eddie. And again, it's wonderful that you're out here supporting an organisation that supported you, and you're helping others maybe get out of what was a very difficult situation where you've been through it. Because I know a lot of the people sleeping out this evening, maybe, as we said earlier on, are going to go home and sleep in a bed tomorrow night. But you're talking to a lot of people that, and know a lot of people, and were one of those people that didn't have a bed for quite a long time.
Yes. Yeah. But I love it. I love the thing to make awareness to people.
Brilliant.
To make this isn't something that's happening miles away. This is happening in London.
Yeah.
And we can end it. We can stop it. We cannot do it together. We can change together. We can make better places for people to stay.
Well, Eddie, thank you. Truly inspirational story, and I'm so glad you're doing so well. You're looking fit and healthy, my man. That's brilliant. And you're rattling the bucket, and I'm going to go and get some money in a minute. I've promised I'm going to get some money from the cash point, and I'll stick it in Eddie's bucket so that he can get the most this evening. Thank you very much, Eddie.
Thank you.
So as we're here at this Glassdoor sleep out for the homeless this evening, there's lots of parents and families, and there's a gentleman over there, and his daughter here is Tilly, and Tilly is actually sleeping out. I think there's a sort of mat down there, and she's going to be sleeping out. So Tilly, can I just ask you, why are you doing it? What inspired you to want to sleep out?
Well, when I was younger, I used to read a book, my parents read a book to me called Mr. Stink by David Walliams, and it was all about a homeless man, and he was invited in to stay with people, but he wasn't homeless on purpose. Like he had a proper backstory. So it makes me think that not all homeless people will want to be out here, but they have to be, or they feel like they should be. So I think that's quite important, so I want to help them and give them as much support and money, so by sleeping out to raise money for charity.
That's great. And the other thing, I suppose, is that you
experiencing firsthand what it's like to sleep out, because most of us, have a really comfy bed to go to, and we don't really worry about this. So, but tonight, just for one night, you're kind of experiencing what it's like. Okay, you've got people around you and you might feel safe, but still, it's as close as you can get, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it'll be the exact same because they're probably not going to have a mat like I do. But yeah, it will be. I've done it once before. I did it last year as well. But
wow.
I think it's going to be interesting.
Well, that's brilliant. No, that's very, very selfless. That's wonderful that you're actually doing that. And I commend your parents and friends that are all involved this evening. There's quite a few of you here. So was this just, as opposed to a sleep over, which is normally quite luxurious, this is actually a sleep out under the stars, which is less luxurious. Although I'd imagine there'll be some nice banter and chat going on, so you guys won't be going to sleep straight away. So, wish you all the best this evening, and I'm fingers crossed it doesn't rain, because that's going to be horrible, wouldn't it? So let's hope not. And again, wonderful, very well done.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So we're back round, and I've just seen Money here, and this is her bed this evening, and so on. I'm actually standing on it. I'd get shot for doing that at home, putting my feet on the bed. So this is where you're going to be sleeping this evening.
This is my bed for tonight. And see, the thing is this, this is just for tonight. Just imagine the people who sleep every day, every night, and at daytime they don't have a place to go to either, and how it gets them, it affects them mentally, and it's so difficult. I think it is.
And I guess the thing here is, this evening you've got a lot of people around you, so you feel quite safe, and that's an important part of it. Whereas if somebody is on their own, I guess they don't have that luxury of safety, that safety net and that network around them.
Exactly. So I go and see some of the women who actually sit like this all night, and then they will find a place somewhere to sleep at daytime because they're scared, they worry someone might kick them or harass them, so they don't sleep at night, and if they do sleep, they do get harassed quite badly, yes.
So, and we're obviously going to talk more about, because I'm seeing you tomorrow, talk about the Bill and Women charity as well and so on. But it's interesting to see. I mean, we've got people here with their kids and stuff, and I think that's amazing that people are educating their children about the problems of others. And it's something I'd be great if more people from all societies and cultures did that. Would you agree?
I agree completely. I think that sometimes we focus on certain things which we think are the only things matters, but we need to look at the wider, as a community where we are living, that this issue is there. And to raise awareness, it's very important.
I mean, I know quite a lot of Gurdwara temples, Sikh temples around the UK certainly have outreach programs for langar, so feeding the homeless and so on, and others do actually go out at night and offer help and so on. But I suppose we haven't quite evolved that far in terms of the night shelters such as Glassdoor have actually created and so on. Is that something you'd like to see maybe the Sikh community get involved in?
Yes, I think that that would be a great, maybe with the Gurdwaras, we could have that option. I think in India we do have that in the Gurdwaras, that we let people in for the night. And I think maybe something like that we can do with our Gurdwaras as well, which will...
And especially when you take into account that quite a lot of Gurdwara, magnificent buildings they are, possibly have space outside. They maybe even have outbuildings and stuff that I guess at very little cost could be converted into something that could actually help people, get them off the streets. I mean, here, when they said they look after 100 people, so, if everyone was doing sort of 15, 20 people in a town, that'd be quite something, wouldn't it?
It will be, and also we could do some kind of programs running in the Gurdwaras where people could come in and, they could talk about, we could do community workshops where we could actually let people talk. Even within our community, a lot of people have mental health issues and so many other issues which can lead to homeless. Being homeless doesn't always mean sleeping on the streets. Homeless, you could be sitting in your in a house but you have no rights. You could be sleeping in a house but you have no privacy, or you being abused, or you being harassed. That's also being homeless, I would say. So maybe we can, as a community, we can give people a platform to come and talk and discuss.
Yeah. And I think there's sometimes this little stigma where people see someone homeless and they obviously equate homelessness with basically that person must be a drunk, person must be a drug addict. And that isn't necessarily the case, is it? The people aren't, they have problems, and sometimes some people do find this as a crutch, but most times people have actually got such deep problems that it's not because of alcoholism or drugs that they're actually on the streets, for lots of other reasons, which we ignore.
True. A lot of people, when we speak with them, and they say that after a while being on the street, that's the way of surviving. So they get into alcohol and drugs because it's easier for them to deal with everything.
Yeah, I guess it kind of numbs the senses, isn't it? If you're in the pain, people will take something to numb the pain, and often if it's alcohol or it's drugs, just to actually change your perspective of reality, because your reality is so horrible, you want to do something about it. So that's great. Well, Manny, we wish you well this evening. It's a shame there wasn't there isn't another cardboard bed here, otherwise I might stick around, but no, seriously. I guess I've been invited to do this next year, so you know what, guys, I think I'm going to, I'm never one to refuse a challenge, so next year I'll come here. I'll say this now. I'll sleep out. As I said, I've done it on Kilimanjaro in minus 15 degrees, so how hard can Chelsea be in 12 degrees?
It's going to be 12 tonight, so...
12. Luxury. Take that T-shirt off. Thank you very much, Manny.
All right, you're welcome.
See you tomorrow.
Yes.
So here we're at the Glassdoor Sleepout for the homeless here in Chelsea, and I've actually got the Mayor of Kensington and Chelsea with me. So, Mayor.
Hello, my name is Mary-Chaz Rossi. I am the Mayor of Kensington, Chelsea, and I have come here tonight to see all the good people who are sleeping out for the night.
Brilliant, brilliant. As I was just saying, as you approached here, it is amazing the number of people, families that are doing this. It is slightly sad that in this day and age we have to do this because there are so many people out there on the streets. What do you say?
I do, I agree. I think it's very sad that you still see people in doorways and sleeping rough. I see them. I live in Earls Court and I see people down the Earls Court Road and also on Kensington High Street. And yes, I think it's very sad. But this is a very good initiative to raise money to help people.
I mean, we spoke earlier on to a gentleman called Eddie, who, amazingly enough, was somebody that used the Glassdoor service when he was on the streets, and it was so inspiring what they did for him, and he dealt with his issues. He's now found himself a place, and he's even got himself educated. So an organisation like Glassdoor are doing amazing things.
I think that is absolutely fabulous, and I would like to congratulate them all for all the work that they do. And if they can reach out to people on the streets and help them to move into a more stable form of life and to give them a future, then that is a wonderful thing.
Mayor, thank you very much. It's been lovely talking to you. I know what I've said to these guys is I'm probably going to come here next year because I didn't come prepared this year. You know, it's just one of those things. So I've actually pledged to do this next year. Do you think you might?
Yes, I might next year. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we're here at the Glassdoor Sleepout for homelessness, and we've got some wonderful people here serving teas and coffees. I must admit, I'm probably going to try to get a coffee in a minute. I will be making a donation, so hopefully they'll give me a coffee. But I'm going to see if I can grab a word with them. I know they're quite busy at the moment, so. Excuse me, have you a minute to have a quick word with me? I'm from the Seek Channel. So we've met with some of the folks from Glassdoor and stuff, and so obviously you're doing some teas and coffees here. Are you doing that all night tonight?
Yes, we are. All night for anyone that needs it. It's complimentary. These people have already volunteered and they're raising money for us, so we...
it's the least you can do, I guess.
Absolutely. Give people something to remember everything by.
Okay. And you, how long have you been involved with Glassdoor now?
Over 20 years. You know, so I was there right from the beginning in 1997 when we were just a little group, you know, of churches trying to figure out, we're praying together, what can we do? And
so I guess I'm doing this little back to front. I didn't even ask you your name. What is your name?
Oh, my name is Bruce Marquardt. I'm one of the, well, I guess I'm a permanent member of the charity, and I've been active almost 20 years, on and off, you know.
So obviously from your accent, you're not local.
Oh, I'm about as local in London as you could be. I've been here over 30 years.
And you still haven't lost the accent?
No, well, it's a bit, you know, tradition, you know.
Well, where's it from? Which part of the state is it from?
Upstate New York near Buffalo.
Oh, right, okay, from Buffalo.
Cold winters and things like that.
And obviously, I mean, it's amazing to see so many people coming out this evening doing this. I mean, it's a shame we have to still do this in the 21st century in a city like London, but the fact that people are responding to it and doing this is quite amazing.
It is quite amazing. Unfortunately, of course, the problems of poverty and lack of housing are all over the world, and London is just another city. But what we have here is a great formula of people working together, building their communities, providing community meals, making sure that someone knows that they're cared for, and especially the poorest people. And you can do that in any city, any place. And that's why we just try and be an example to people for hospitality, for helping, and as you know, very much what you do as well.
Yes, I mean, certainly, I mean, again, it's amazing because a lot of people out there will often deride religion and sort of for their own means. But sometimes, you know, religions, I know the Sikh religion for one is all about sort of helping. And, you know, this is a very church-oriented, is where Glassdoor started from. So you guys believe in kind of helping those that need it the most, I guess.
Absolutely. It's you know, part of our teaching, and it's something that we feel obligated. And this gives people who a chance to live that faith and to live that ethic and to gain experience. And it has tremendous community benefits more widely. And as we've seen in many situations when you have disasters, the people that are ready to go and can help instantly are people that had experience.
Bruce, I've not been raising money and doing fundraising as long as you have. You've been doing it a long time. But I know one of the things that I derive from actually raising money for other people is a massive sense of fulfillment. It makes me feel better about myself. Do you get that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the gift of giving, you know, that you try and explain to people why giving is
it's a natural high, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And people aren't. Some people don't quite understand that.
You're absolutely right.
And they haven't had that experience yet. But yeah, for me, doing this kind of work is pure joy, especially at my age. You know,
35?
Well, yeah, plus 35.
Okay.
But what I mean is, you know, you see all these young people, and it's making really good memories for them, and very positive approaches to their life about how to do it.
Well, it's amazing. We've seen some young children over there. I mean, you know, they're sort of 12, 13, and you know, credit to their parents for bringing them out here, because, you know, the easy option would be to sit at home on a Friday night with a pizza and a movie, but to have them out here, letting them see how other people live in the toughest ways, and actually educating them in that way, is quite amazing.
Well, it's a safe environment, you know. We've got lots of people here. It's very controlled, and it's a bit competitive too. You know, all these different groups, these kids, they really want to go for it, and it's great fun to see you know, young people enthusiastic about things. And
what, people are not saying, kids are not saying, I'm going to be homeless before you are, that sort of stuff. That's not that kind of competition.
They're saying, we're going to raise more money than you.
Oh, good, that's it. I was going to say, if they start saying stuff like, I'm going to be on the streets before you are, yeah, I'm going to leave home tomorrow, then that's trouble. So no, Bruce, lovely talking to you. Have an amazing evening and so on. Thank you very much. And I'm going to trouble you for a coffee in a minute because my throat's going. So, and I promise I'll make a donation. So there you go.
You've already made your donation.
Thank you very much. So it's filling up a little bit now here here in Chelsea at the Glassdoor Sleepout for homelessness. I'd like to thank Money for inviting us to this evening.
You're welcome, and I hope you had a good experience.
I've certainly had an interesting experience, and I'm quite humbled by a number of people out here this evening and so on. As I said, I pledge to do this next year myself, so I'm going to sort of go look for a really strong bit of cardboard and reinforce it, probably put a mattress on it and bring it with me next year. So this is Del Singh here, Late Night Banter, saying thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to a bit more banter later.
Thank you for watching Late Night Banter this evening. I trust you'll join me next week for another Late Night Banter special. It's actually a real talk special. It's on a subject that is probably less on the light-hearted side, but still something we need to talk about. It's about sexual grooming and abuse, and I'll be joined by Bhai Mohan Singh of the Sikh Awareness Society to tackle this very important subject, find out more and to educate. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you next week.